hello and greetings to Estonian community. We also have such kind of meetings, but they are called Cyber Breakfast, and you have better format because it's with drinks and food, so congratulations. Yes, I'm leading the Cyber Threat Management Department at National Cybersecurity Center, and I have a great team with me today here. And what do? We have an international platform where we cooperate with experts from US, Ukraine, Poland, Czech Republic, and we were in the unique situation because we managed to keep Ukrainian experts even then the war started. So it's not only Lithuania that does the analysis and threat assessment, but also our partner experts. This initiative is called Regional Cyber Defense Center, but currently we are moving to the new form as International Cyber Threat Analysis Hub, because we are expanding the scope and the geography. So we cooperate a lot with Asia Pacific, on the same topics, because we have what to share with them. And as regards the scope, it's not only the cyber threat intelligence that we are working on now, but also the active threat hunting, international team of experts going to plug into the networks of the specific entities and looking for the threats there. And also conducting the research, I'm sorry, standing only there. Conducting the research, hardware and software reverse engineering, and looking for threats as well. So this is the main thing what we are doing. And today, I want to briefly present you one of our products of team of experts. They analyzed the Russian offensive cyber capabilities starting from 2022 and 2025. Mainly, it's the joint collaboration with partners that I mentioned before. We used the OSINT information and inputs from the direct inputs from the experts. And I will briefly present you, but it's open on our website, and you can, if you're interested, you can read more. There will be a QR code there. So 3 things what we were analyzing: the actors, the methods, how they act, and the infrastructure and tooling, what they used 4 years ago and what they are using now. Of course, well known, as the colleagues said, boring, but yes, 3 main agencies, military, foreign intelligence, and federal security. All of them, they have their own different tasks, different models of acting, and different targets. So, and of course, the APTs linked to the different intelligence entities. Talking about the methods, as colleague previously mentioned about the China's methods, it was the same in 2022, nothing very special. Spear phishing, credential thefts, wipers, and a lot of hybrid warfare, coordination of kinetic and cyber operations. Then, as regards the tools, I would say there are 3 main groups of tools: the custom malware, of course, the hermetic wiper. I guess you've heard very well about that, because wiper was very broadly used in 2022, not so often now. Then there were public tools that were used, what we can get, like Cobalt Strike and Metasploit and others. And of course, the DDoS and defacements, a lot of defacement attacks back then. The landscape, okay, I'm not used to this clicker, so sorry. Moving to the 2025, so if we think that Russia was sleeping and nothing has changed, so it's not. They have expanded their threat actor ecosystem. The techniques are also advanced, and they've changed their targeting. So talking about the threat actor ecosystem, of course, we have the same main APTs that we had in 2022 and before us, APT 28, 29, Turla, and others. But what we see now, we have new groups with much more technically sophisticated and related to the military structures. So as UAC 0184, UAC 0226. Then the other thing what we witnessed now, that those activists that were more or less not so much coordinated than the war started, now they are very well integrated into the whole ecosystem and the whole structure. And we see a very coordination between the different actors on the, while conducting the operations. Talking about the techniques, of course, the groups are using AI tools. And what we see here, we have polymorphic malware, which can change, and it's very, very difficult to how to say, to get or to find or to defend against it. And of course, AI was used for the more advanced phishing attacks and for propaganda and deep fakes as well. And also as regards the techniques, we see here that we have much more coordinated kinetic attacks and cyber attacks, and also, as I've mentioned before, the hybrid attacks and propaganda. Then talking about the targeting, it's not only Ukraine, it's not only Ukrainian military. Now we have OT systems, railway, energy, and other critical infrastructure. Of course, IoT, network devices. But it's not only Ukraine that is targeted. Now we see the much broader targeting, especially those countries that are supporting Ukraine, NATO countries, and logistic chains, supply chains, logistics were broadly attacked, also the diplomatic missions as well. So here we have the quite well coordinated PSYOPs and kinetic and cyber domain. And very briefly, to sum up what we see, how the offensive cyber capabilities developed. So then we had separate agencies in 2022. Now we have the centralized strategy, and everybody, every entity has its place in the strategy. At the beginning, we had the short cyber attacks, very intense. Now we have much more planned and sustained operations, and that's because they were not so successful in 2022. So now they have more planned, more finances and long operations. As regards the scope, as I mentioned, not only Ukraine, but the like-minded countries and organizations, and enhanced integration in planning, integration not only in the cyber structure, but the kinetic structure as well, and propaganda, AI used for the propaganda purposes as well. And those hacktivists, like No Name 057 and others, they are now also, they are using the joint infrastructure as well. And as at the beginning in 2022, there were like quick short attacks, rapid deployment. So now one of the reasons because they were not successful, now we have much more planned, much more organized situation. And here's the QR code. You can find the much deeper analysis, and I touched just briefly today. You can read how everything evolved, and just one thing what I wanted to say, that we are not doing those analyses that just for ourselves. It's for, we want to understand them, how they act, and one of the things how we think we can what we can do. So first of all, we think that we should cooperate and share information. And as today, Lauri, we were discussing a lot about sharing information in our region because we are facing the same threats. So one of the tools that we have, it's sharing our information and knowledge. So please read, and if you have any questions, I'm here, and I'm also everywhere on LinkedIn. So thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can we take one question from the audience right now? All right, let's have a question.
Thank you. Very interesting presentation. I'm curious, it seems like there were a lot of publicized destructive and wiper attacks in 22-23, and it seems like the tempo of that has decreased significantly. Is that accurate from your visibility, and do you have analysis as to why?
Yes, you're absolutely right. We don't see any wipers, a lot of wipers now. They were at the beginning in 2022. I will not tell you the exact reason why. I don't remember the whole analysis, but absolutely you will find the table with all the type of attacks and the years, which year most of them were used. So please see, but your conclusion is absolutely right.
All right, our Lithuanian colleagues will be around a little bit more after this program is concluded. One more round of applause, please. Thank you.